All right, guys. Don't know if you're. Let's see. 1 second. There we go. Let's see if it's picking up the sound. Hello, hello. Yep. Okay. I've got you here, just in case you come in. We're kind of set a little bit different. Elvis is still back here in the corner. Look up right there. There's Elvis. We're going to come back this way. All right, let's see what we look like right here. I'm trying to get this situated. I kind of wanted a little bit more of the light effect in the back of me. That way. Now we got Elvis and the light. We got the Kansas City stuff. We've got everything back here. And there we are. Let's get on this real quick. Let's get the lights pumping. Big Blue style. BBN. Come up with a great game tonight. Start off the first half kind of slow. You guys have probably heard a little bit of this tonight already. But there's the victory lights too as well. Because at the end of the day, we did get some victory out of this. We won, especially that second half. I'm going to go ahead and go into this real quick. So if you make comments, I still might be able to see it. But I'm going to go into the ESPN real quick because that should be on there. As a matter of fact, it was on the ESPN Plus SEC Network type of coverage. So we definitely should be able to go to ESPN and pull up these stats. They should be on there. Unlike when we watched the exhibition game for basketball, where you didn't necessarily see that, the after game stats. So let's look at this real quick. Okay, so we're going to get into a few things after we just go over this little bit of information here. Okay, so we know that Mr. Stoops has tied the Bear. Okay, Bear Bryant. So if you not for sure who that is, he was a coach at Kentucky for sure, and he had a lot of college football success. So go check that out. Go look up information on that. I'm pretty sure that Kentucky Sports Radio will do a story on that. And then you want to look at let me get to the game real quick. Where's it at? So I want to look at the stats for tonight's game. And then we had some issues, though. We did have some issues tonight. So we'll have to talk about those issues as well. I'm on here right now looking at the stats of the game to go over those with you real quick. If you tuned in to probably Matt Jones or any of them, let's go back to a solid blue. If you've tuned in to any of that, actually, let's go white. That way it'll be a little bit brighter. If you tuned in to Matt Jones or them, they probably told you some stuff. So, already, but I'm just going to go over this real quickly. I do want to say that the Gabbert quarterback, he had 166 yards for Miami, Ohio, and 0 touchdowns, but he was 20-28. He had a pretty decent little game, didn't he? Let's go over here and look at the stats for the Cats there. When you're on ESPN, you have to flip it. Levis was 21 of 32, 303 yards, 9.5 average per attempt per pass, 3 touchdowns. He did have 1 interception where he stared someone down. They said he's got to stop doing that. Let's look at the rushing. Rushing was a down, so this is one of the ones we're going to have to talk about. Rushing was down, so we definitely are missing Chris Rodriguez. And then all of a sudden tonight, all this big history, the big story about where is Chris Rodriguez, when's he going to play? And then one of the announcers like, I think he'll play next week against Florida. It's like, I've not really been hearing a bunch of people say that. And so to hear him say that, I honestly think it's going to be true too. I think Chris Rodriguez will play against Florida. Let's see here. Smoke was 7 for 32, and then McClain 6 for 16. A couple other people had 10 yards. Levis looks like he was sacked, and lost some yardage on his rushing. But look at the receptions. Robinson, 6 receptions, 136 yards. Now, prediction of this game for me was that we were going to win by 30 or 35 plus, and then Dane Key was going to have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dane Key didn't get the 100 yards, but he did get 1 touchdown. Robinson had the most receptions, and he led the team in receptions and yards and average per catch as well. He had the longest one, too, of 45, but he had 0 touchdowns, did not get in the end zone. But looks like the tight end Bates got in there, Key got in there, and Magwood got in there, Chauncey Magwood. So he got in there as well. 1 reception to 17 yards or so. Well, at least that's what it says here. Let's see, what did he end up with? Actually, total Magwood. Let's look at that real quick. Down here, Magwood ended up with 1 reception, 8 yards, but it was a touchdown. So, there's your stats. Levis played pretty decent. Robinson, obviously, story of the day. 6 receptions, 136 yards. But Dane Key, 4 receptions as well. Over 50 yards, 1 touchdown. Longest one was 19. Did you see his grab for that touchdown? It was brilliant. Let's look at something else too. Now let's talk. So those were the good things. Those were the good things, okay? But now we have to look at something here, and I definitely want to talk about it. I don't know if anybody else was talking about it, and not that it was too negative, right? But let's talk about this. Hey, my friend from the Philippines, good to see you. It's good to see you guys. Good to see everyone in here. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's look at this real quick. Let's digest this real quick. So Kentucky struggled in that first half at the beginning-ish and all the way through until, because it was like, what was it, 10-13 at halftime or something of that nature. Here's the problem. Levis stared down at people. The offensive line was basically held together by some super glue and duct tape tonight. And it was because it's early. It's early in the season still, maybe. I don't know, right? And in the running backs, I thought, okay, Rodriguez is out, but it's Miami, Ohio. We should be fine. Smoking him should be able to get some, 50, 60 yards apiece or so. We should be at least in that area. And it didn't happen. And it mainly didn't happen, not necessarily because Rodriguez wasn't running the ball, is because our offensive line is not the same as we used to have. You saw Levis getting more pressure tonight. He got sacked, I think, once or twice at least. Maybe a little bit more, because a couple times I had to listen to the radio because I couldn't get the ESPN part to work. But anyways, so Levis got sacked, or at least taken down. He was rushed. Offensive line wasn't holding up. The running attack was not there, because I don't think it's necessarily on our athletes or the individuals we have running the football, more that it's on we're not getting the same solid blocking or openings that the blue wall that we had a season and last season before that we had. It's not there. It's not there right now. No, that's first game, blah, 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 all this stuff. Look, these guys have been in camps together. They've been doing some spring stuff. They've been playing. They've been scrimmaging some things on the side. Look, it's a little bit different than basketball. Basketball, you got to get, you're trying to get, these 10 guys together, and maybe none of them have played a game together at all. But football, you get a lot of returning pieces usually sometimes. And so a lot of these guys have been waiting 2 or 3 years to get into that starting row, or started last year a few games before the end of the season, so due to an injury. So it's a little bit different. So I'm not saying that they can't have first game jitters. All I'm saying is that it kind of surprised me against the team that we were playing. Now, they were saying it was like at a MAC conference, and they were last year's champion out of that conference or something of that nature, and they're predicted to win again, so maybe you should schedule a even lesser opponent. But we even saw Appalachian State take it with North Carolina today, but ACC teams are struggling. So either way you go, you still have to play your best, okay? So thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. So it's like Levis had to really play a little bit harder than I thought he wanted to. Stared down a guy, got it picked off. But we're not going to stick on that too much. Another thing we're going to look at is the fact that our defense. That was the offense a little bit struggle, but our defense, my gosh. Now the second half, defense played tremendously well, but in the first half, did not. I do not know what the final score was for, we're going to look at that real quick, was the Florida game where they played in Utah, I believe. Let's see. I'm looking at that score right now real quick. I'm just going to look at it and see. Because at one time I know Florida was up 1 or down 1. And let's just see what the score was tonight for them. So they won by 3, 29-26. Now they get Kentucky. I honestly do not think we can go in there and play lackadaisical for the first part of that first half, or even try to think that it's going to be a 13-10 we're okay game situation. Can't do that against Florida next week, in my honest opinion. If we can get, and Florida has some momentum now because they play a tough, hard game against Utah, end up eking out a win by 3 here, so it gives them some momentum. So we're looking forward to that. So our defense definitely has to step up and play more powerful, play more explosive. Now, I didn't see every single play, so I'd be lying to you if I was on here telling you I think I know what they should do or anything of that. I'm not the coach. Thank you guys so much for loving and hitting the comment section. Thank you. And thank you for liking and all that. Hit the like button for me if you don't mind. I know darn good and well that I don't know everything. I'm just a fan watching like you guys are. But I will tell you this. I really enjoyed the game in that second half. If we can duplicate what we did in the second half, we will have no problems against Florida. And then our next few games after that are smooth sailing. I mean, we're going to beat Youngstown. We should. So we'll be okay, right? We're going to be okay. So I'm really looking forward to that. One thing for sure is that if we look at the upcoming schedule, let's look at that real quick. So we're going to go here. We're on, all this is on just ESPN and all the stats. In the matchup predictor, Florida is projected to win 51.1% to Kentucky's 48.9% in that game coming up next week. And if we're really looking at that, it's because of the location. If Kentucky was at home, it would be flipped. But let's look at this. After Florida, if Kentucky can figure out how to win that, get that victory there, they have Youngstown, NYU, and then Ole Miss. That'd be the toughest game at Ole Miss, and then South Carolina. Those out of those games, you're really looking at Ole Miss and Florida. I mean, I really feel like that. The South Carolina can be tricky, but it's at home. We're at Ole Miss and we're at Florida. Those are the 2 toughest games out of the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. And I feel like we should win. We should definitely win 3 out of the 5. But I think if we're going to be the team that actually gets over 10 wins, gets 11 or 12 or whatever we're going to look at, and we're going to be in a college football playoff talk, right? And Will Levis, the announcers were talking again tonight. Will Levis is already being projected to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. And one of the announcers tonight for the game was saying that Will Levis is going to end up being the first quarterback off the board for quarterbacks. He's going to be the first quarterback selected. He didn't necessarily say that Levis was going to be, I heard him say like number 1 overall, but I think he meant number 1 overall out of the quarterbacks. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Levis is going to play great, but we'll see. I mean, like tonight when we look at it again, he had 3 touchdowns, and he did have the 1 interception, but he had 3 touchdowns, and his yardage was 303 yards. 303. So every 100 yards he throws a touchdown. I mean, essentially like that, right? If you could take that 1 blemish interception off tonight, maybe add another touchdown and give him 4 touchdowns, my gosh. And then plus it would have gave him like 4 or 5 more yards. So he would have 307 and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. That would have been awesome. And he would have been 21 of 33 or something of that nature. Or 22 of 33 or 22 of 32. Something of that nature, or 34. So either way, Levis played well, but he could even play even better. So I agree with it to a certain extent, but I'm not 100% sure. So here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing going forward. I just know that the defense, and I have no rock tonight because I don't feel like I should get off the defensive rock, which is our prop. You guys know that from the cat attacks. And then we won tonight. If we look at the point differential, you know, let's see. It was I thought it could have been a little bit more. I was expecting a little bit more. So I cannot get out the rock. I just can't get it out. But we will get a cat attack dance because Kentucky did win. Kentucky did win by 24 points. And I said as long as it is still over 21 points, we'll do a little bit of dance. And on top of that, let me get my trusty, 1 second. I got to get it. I forgot to grab it. Because we can't do it without it. You know, we just can't do it without the hat. This is the winning hat. We do it for basketball. We do it for football. There's no difference. Here we go. We're going to go with it. Here, you're going to put it on here. This is the winning hat. We put it on. Let me rotate the camera up for you so you can see me, so I can tell that you can see me, okay? And we're going to now put this on the blue because Kentucky won tonight, and you're going to get a cat attack. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go, Big Blue! Wow, wow, wow. That's what the cats do. That's what they do. We win, win, win. So boo-boo you. That's what we do, baby. Another victory. Another good cat attack dance because we're styling, profiling, always winning. Why you crying? That's why we just scored 3 touchdowns on you and some field goals. Got to give it to our kicker. Made a 50 or 51 yarder tonight. Good for him as a career long. So great news there. So that's all the dancing that I have for you. That's our cat attack dance. Over 21 points. I'm going to do it. Same thing in basketball. We're looking for over 20. We got it. We got the victory hat. I cannot pull out any other props because other than that, I didn't really like the defense all the way through, so I'm not pulling out the defensive rock prop. And they barely got that cat attack because it's only 24, and we were looking for possibly over 21. So, but we got it. We got the cat attack dance in, and it's a good time. Good time to be a Cats fan. And I'm happy to do that so-called dance moves for you. My legs didn't hardly move. I noticed that. So I would not be a good extra in Footloose when they started the dancing, but I'd be a great extra in Footloose when they made up the rule that we cannot dance because most people wouldn't want to see me dance. But either way, I have to take my hat off to Coach Stoops. Great victory. And all the other coaching staff for the Big Blue Nation. And I also got to give my hat off to Will Levis, because without Will Levis, I do not think we'd be in the position we're in. Maybe Hogan to come out there and do some good stuff. I don't know, but Levis is our guy. So keep that in mind. Levis is projected to be a top 10 guy. If we can't get 10 wins with a top 10 guy, man, you know, because Levis on his own, even being rushed, should be able to win us 3 or 4 games. Just on his own. And you throw in the defense ability, you know, at least the defense can win 2 games on their own. That's 6. And then with our receiving core and special teams and running backs and just athlete players, we should be able to ink out another 2 or 3 wins. So it's 8 to 9 just on talent alone. That's the way I would break it down. And then I'm going to throw in just with our coaching staff, and Mark Stoops is our head coach, another at least a game or 2. That's 10 to 11 wins. And that's where we should be, nothing less. But maybe more. We're going to find out next week when we play Florida. So that is all we have tonight, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this cat attack. Sorry, I cannot dance. And sorry I can't bring out any other props. But I did bring out the lucky winning hat. We got on the Kentucky gear. We did the dance. We went over the stats. You heard my opinion. Tell me what's your opinion. Tell me in the comment section down below when you watch this replay if you think that the Cats are going to beat Florida, or what is our biggest issue that we're going to have that could prevent us from beating Florida. Well, that's all I have, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Hit the little bell so you'll be notified next time we upload. Until next time, guys, let's all say it together. Ready? C-A-T-S. Cats, cats, cats. Go Big Blue. BBN, baby. Big Blue Nation for life. Peace out, y'all.